So here's a weird thing about modern warfare, something that just doesn't seem to make any sense at first glance. It's this bizarre paradox where a smaller, super-targeted military campaign can end up costing way more than a giant, full-scale invasion. It sounds completely backward, I know, but it tells us everything about how war has changed.
All right, let's get right into the numbers because this is where it gets crazy. You look back at the first 3 weeks of the Iraq invasion in 2003. The daily cost was about $150 million. Now let's compare that to a hypothetical air campaign against Iran, say in 2026. The cost? A mind-blowing $1.9 billion every single day. That's more than 8 times the price for each day of the conflict.
And this is where it gets even weirder. That much more expensive war, it involves only a third of the troops and just a fifth of the bombing missions. So let me get this straight. Fewer soldiers, fewer planes, but a bill that's 8 times higher? What on earth is going on? To figure this out, we got to look at what makes these two conflicts just fundamentally different. Okay, first, let's rewind the clock to 2003, to the invasion of Iraq. That campaign, it was really the last of its kind. It was all about a 20th century playbook where you win by sheer mass and manpower, by getting boots on the ground.
And here's the crucial point. That $5 billion bill for the first 3 weeks, it wasn't mostly for bombs and bullets. Nope. It was for the unbelievable logistical feat of moving and supporting 160,000 soldiers in the middle of a desert. We're talking about the transport ships, the giant cargo planes, the pop-up bases, and just incredible amounts of food, water, and fuel.
And here's the other key factor. Back in 2003, Iraq's air defenses were, well, they were totally outdated. That meant American planes could fly pretty much wherever they wanted without much to worry about. And that let them use some relatively cheap weapons to get the job done.
Get this. The magic number was $30,000. That's how much it costs for a JDAM kit, which is basically just a smart GPS guidance system you bolt onto a regular dumb bomb. So for the price of a new Toyota Camry, you had a precision-guided weapon. At that price, you could afford to drop thousands upon thousands of them without breaking the bank.
Okay, now let's jump forward to our 2026 Iran scenario, and you'll see how this whole thing builds into a completely different and way more expensive story. Yeah, this is a whole different ballgame. We're not talking about a war of boots anymore. This is a war of machines.
Today's strategy is driven by what you could call a fear of political casualties. You know, in our 24/7 media world, the absolute worst-case scenario for military planners isn't just losing a pilot. It's that pilot getting captured and then paraded on TV. That's a political nightmare they will pay almost anything to avoid.
So, what's the solution to that fear? You keep your pilots and your incredibly expensive jets as far away from enemy defenses as you possibly can. And that means you have to rely on over-the-horizon strikes, letting long-range, precision-guided missiles do all the dirty work. And spoiler alert, these things are not cheap. So let's take a look at the price tag for one of the main tools in this new kind of warfare. We've gone from the budget bomb to, well, to something else entirely.
And boom, here's where that cost explosion really hits you. A single Tomahawk cruise missile, the kind you'd use in the first wave of an attack to clear the way for planes, costs $4 million. Each one. Think about that. You push a button and $4 million just flies to its target and goes up in smoke. In the first few nights of a conflict, you could fire hundreds of these.
But it's not just the cost of what you're firing that's the problem. In this new era of warfare, it's the cost of defense that reveals an even more insane financial imbalance, one that actually works against the high-tech side.
Okay, look at this table. The math here is just staggering. An opponent can send a drone at you that costs maybe $50,000. To shoot that down, a U.S. warship has to fire an SM-2 interceptor, which costs $2.5 million. Or to stop a ballistic missile, you need an SM-6 missile, which is over $4 million a pop.
So here's the kicker. Even if your defense is perfect, even if you shoot down every single thing they throw at you, you are losing badly on the financial front. In some cases, the U.S. is forced to spend $80 just to defeat a $1 threat. You can win every single engagement and still be bleeding money.
And that's not all. On top of all the weapons being fired, just being there is like a furnace for money. The F-35 stealth fighter, which is the backbone of this kind of operation, costs over $35,000 for every single hour it's in the air. I mean, keeping a squadron of those in the sky is like setting a brand new luxury car on fire every single hour.
So where is all that money going? That $1.9 billion a day?
Well, it's flowing right into the bank accounts of the Big Five, the biggest defense contractors in the U.S. Companies like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, they're the ones building these incredibly complex and incredibly profitable machines of war.
So all of this incredible expense, it leads to a final and honestly a pretty dangerous problem. A problem that throwing more money at can't actually fix.
And here's the fundamental issue. The military can fire hundreds of these million-dollar missiles in one night, but American industry, even going at full speed, can only build a few hundred of them in an entire year. You're firing them way, way faster than you can build them. It's that simple. And you might be asking, why does it take so long? Well, these aren't simple bombs you can crank out on an assembly line. Each missile is a technological marvel. It needs special microchips, sophisticated little jet engines, and teams of highly skilled engineers to put it all together. From the day it's ordered to the day it's delivered takes about 18 to 24 months. And what this creates is a massive strategic risk, one we haven't really faced before. In a long, intense conflict, the United States could physically run out of its best weapons in just a few weeks or months. You could run out of ammunition long before you run out of money.
So it all comes down to this one big question for the future. This new aristocratic style of war, where you trade enormous amounts of treasure to avoid spilling even a little bit of blood, it's a powerful idea. But can it actually be sustained long enough to win against a big, determined opponent who's willing to fight back? That is the multi-trillion-dollar question.